All right, I'm going to do a weekly outlook here. Look at the week ahead. For me, I didn't trade today. Today, I took the day off. And we'll be looking at where is the week going to expand? That's what I'm curious. Where is the week going to expand? Let me pull up Forex Factory here and look at the news ahead, because it's important to know what kind of news we got going on. Get it over here. So we got Trump's going to be talking at the World Economic Forum on Wednesday. Okay, whatever. No big deal. GDP numbers on Thursday. 10 a.m. news on Thursday, and then so we got 9:45 news on Friday. So relatively light news week. Should probably get some volatility, but yeah. So nothing major coming in on the week. These are GDP can move the markets. It doesn't move the markets usually that much. But I generally wait until after the news prints before I start looking for setups. So let's see what we got. So ES here, NQ all on the weekly chart, Dow, and Bitcoin. It looks like Bitcoin, let me put the futures chart on for Bitcoin. There we go. Futures chart. Okay. So tiny little gap down on the week. Nothing major. It did pull into this imbalance, and it looks like it's pulling back. It's not. I'll get into Bitcoin a little bit later, but I'll looked at it a little bit deeper. But it's not very bullish, obviously, on this price run, but it's not breaking down just yet. So ES has gapped down. Interesting. NQ gapped down, and all the stock in index futures has gapped down from here. So we're trading well beneath last week's low. If we're going to be trading under last week's low, the prior week's low, you got to be looking for shorts. And where is this likely going to go to? Well, let's get down to the ES chart first, and we'll do ES first. So ES right here, we got this defined low, this clear swing low. We got this clear swing low here. This swing low took out that swing low, and that what took out that swing high? Boom, right there. So that's our defined swing high. So looking at this, the market is likely drawing towards a discount. And let me look at this as, just flip that. Let's do a quick reversal like that. So there's that 50% of that range right down there. What's down there? Well, we get the sell side right here. We got the sell side liquidity pool right here. If this is going to break down. So we'll mark that sell side out right there. We got prior week's high, prior week's low, currently trading underneath the prior week's low. Prior week's low, and we got this nice new week opening gap. New week opening gap. Okay, so the market is structured bullishly overall, obviously, but it has been doing this slow grind up. So we could be experiencing a pullback. I mean, it did take out that high, now it's back into the range. So you would anticipate once this high was taken, it had its opportunity up here to break out above that high, and then it broke back down into the range, and now we're gapping lower underneath the prior week's low. So if we're staying under the prior week's low, to me that's looking not so bullish. So we could be looking to reprice into a discount. Now what's down there? Let's drop down to a daily chart. We got this clear swing low right here, because it's got to take out this swing low first before it can even get to that one. We got this sell side right here. And we have this down close candle right here. Has the market ever visited the body of it? Only right there. So we got this potential daily order block. And then we got that imbalance down there. This is the new week opening gap. I'll put that. New week opening gap right there. And I make sure that these are perfect. So these are premium arrays, and then we have finally the the primary sell side that's right here inside this range. So if this thing's going to be bearish and it's looking to me, oops, move that and lock it. Locked in. So it looks like to me that the market is most likely going to draw to the swing low right here. It's so close to it, and then possibly work down to the swing low right here. It's been inside this. It's spent a lot of time inside this imbalance right here. It's already filled it in once. Now it's backing at it again. Now, if we form a swing low right here, we end up taking out the high here, and we start trailing up higher. So working in this new week opening gap, obviously I'm going to be wrong. I'm not going to hold this short side bias for very long. But if I'm looking at just this range from when this low was set to when this high was set, right here. So when the primary buy side was set to the primary sell side, and this is going to be the primary buy side now. To me, if I'm just looking at this snapshot in time, the market has spent way more time up here than it has down there. So it looks like to me it's probably going to want to reprice lower. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. So the idea is going to be wrong if we get back, like we start displacing, like 4-hour candles start displacing above the consequent encroachment of this new week opening gap, the current week right here. So if we start seeing this, the market kind of disrespects that, supports it, and then we start just trending higher from there. You know, we start seeing something like this take place, big movement up, and then comes back down, and then starts making higher highs. If I start seeing something like that, then I'm not going to be interested in shorting this anymore, and I'm going to say that we're probably going to dance around the all-time highs again. But right now, to me, it looks like from this high to this low, we can anticipate the market trading back around into the 50% inside this gap and look for it to find resistance. So it can trade up inside of this gap from this week, look for it to find resistance inside of this range right here. We have this 4-hour imbalance inversion fair value gap right here. To me, that would be a good spot to look to get short here. 4 hours. So I am looking for heaviness and continuation lower to take out the low here, to work towards this low here, and then potentially down all the way to the primary sell side. So it's a good 500 points away, but I don't necessarily need it. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to do that this week. What I do expect is to go down into the green shaded area, which would be the sell side liquidity pool resting here, the order block right here. And then obviously we have some lows right here, some lows right here inside of this new week opening gap. And then all the way down here. So it could find support, bounce up higher. This could just be a pullback into this range to go higher. But there's a good chance we're going to get a short to take out these lows here. That's how I'm looking at this right now. So I'm going to look for short side bias. Doesn't mean I'm not going to take longs. It just means I think longs are going to be the low resistance liquidity runs are going to be to the short side. Weekly chart on NQ. So this is going to be our primary sell side low. That high set that low. And then we've been trading inside that range. Our primary buy side is going to be way up here. Primary buy side. Now this thing gapped up at all-time highs. Hit that gap. So it's this whole entire area right here is inefficient. So for the market to spend a lot of time inside of this and to make it efficient makes sense to me. We'll see if it wants to continue up higher. With ES, I think ES going lower, which I could be wrong. And I know when I'm going to be wrong for that. Get this new week opening gap right there. And we got this one down here. And yeah. So where's the discount in this? Now, I think it looks like we're really going to be trading just about at that equilibrium point right now by just looking at the chart. Yeah, trading just right at equilibrium. We're looking to think for this to break down. We got prior week's low sitting right here. Obviously, if we're going to be below prior week's low, it's a good chance that the market's going to go lower. High. Good chance the market's going to go lower. Again, so kind of the same thing. I'm going to take this out of the equation right now. Kind of the same thing that I'm looking for. The market to reprice into the new week opening gap, find some resistance to essentially break down. That's what I want to see. So let's get down to the daily chart and find out what kind of liquidity that we have. We've already taken out that swing low. We do have some clean highs right here. We have an S&T divergence at the highs, though. That's one thing that we clearly have, that high was taken and this high wasn't. So there is a divergence, an S&T divergence. So I do think that we might be seeing, a downside move now, right? Because we got S&T at the highs. It's a new quarter. It's a new year. So we could see a good move lower. So, which to me would be healthy and great to get in for lower prices for a nice, long, bullish year. So let me go to this prior. I said the sell sign. We got the sell side liquidity pool right here. We are already trading back down into the order block of this candle right here. So if I'm to look at this low to high, where's about the 70% retracement? Market's already visited that. So that means the market's likely going to go lower down to the 79. So if it's going to break down lower. Now, how would I be wrong? Well, kind of the same thing as before. We have this new week opening gap right here. I do anticipate the market pulling back up, finding some resistance inside the gap, possibly inside this range here to here. If it just kind of takes out this high and then starts rolling over, then that's going to be real heavy. But I know I'll be wrong on a bearish case, is if the market that disrespects the gap, finds some support in it, and continues to trend higher. So something like this, big breakout above the gap, find some support inside the gap. Let's just assume the gap is right in there. Some support inside that gap, and continues to push higher. If I start seeing that, I'm not going to just keep on plowing a short. I'm going to switch my bias and say, okay, I'm long. I'm going to go long. We're going to work these highs here, and then all the way up to the primary buy side. But ES to me is painting a picture that it wants to go lower since it did take out the highs and it's broken down. It has shifted market structure lower from this high to this low. It has shifted lower. It's underneath that range right now. It has made a failure swing on the high. That's showing me kind of heaviness. The Dow. The Dow could be giving us another pullback down into here inside of these down close candles. It's very close to that low, so it's likely going to this imbalance right here. Pulling back to, I would look to see where's the 50% of this. That would be low-hanging fruit. It's right there. So getting under it, working into the optimal trade entry zone of that for a long for continuation is very possible on the Dow. So everything's kind of leaning towards me that the Dow is even going to pull back a little bit. What's Bitcoin doing? So Bitcoin, this is not the futures chart. This is the spot chart. So Bitcoin, on the other hand, is looking a little structurally. It's still bullishly structured on this price action right here. This price leg is not bullishly structured, but this current price leg that it's in is part of this larger a part of this larger bearish one. So at some point, this one of two things are going to happen. This larger bearish leg is going to have a continuation, so a breakdown, or it's going to reverse. Now, rarely does it go from consolidation to reversal. So what I'd be looking at here is the low. Where did all the consolidation form? From the lowest point to the highest point, if this is going to be the lowest point. And let's say this is the high. Don't know that it is yet. That middle's right there. That lines up perfectly. So breaking down is possible, but I'm looking at this from a weekly chart. And I'm going to project high, and I'm going to put the 50% right there. Let's get prices on that. It's going to be 52K. So the market's going down to 52K as a measured move, if that's going to be the consolidation. So, if I'm going to do that, let me look at this right here, and I'm going to drive it all the way down to where I think the market's going, which is this 49,050. That would put us into a 62 retracement. So this could just be this. We could be putting in the top. The top could be coming in on Bitcoin. So this could be the top. As of right this second, dropping down to an hourly, getting rid of this range right here. The market is still holding this fair value gap. It's repriced all of it. All of these down close candles right here is one order block, and the market's in the upper half of that. So it hasn't shifted. It hasn't shifted bearish on the daily yet. I will be watching. What I would be watching is this, the high right here of that buy side and bounce, sell side inefficiency, because it looks like we're going to be making a new one right here. The day closes in a couple hours. Anything's possible. It could trade all the way back up to here. I don't think that's going to happen. So I am going to be watching for where these two areas overlap right about here. I'm going to be looking to see if this market wants to find some resistance up in here and then continue lower. And if this happens, if you get a daily close under this 91,835, which is the 50%, the mean threshold of this series of down close candles, that is telling me that something is wrong, and the bullish case is probably gone. If we start closing candles below it on the daily closing basis, if the market breaks down and starts closing daily candles and weekly candles that are at least this week low, then I'm gonna say, oh yeah, this thing's fucking done. And again, right here, this imbalance right here is going to be very important, because if this is going to break down, it will act as resistance. I'm calling it before it happens. So if I can't get a trade in short from up here, I can get it down here if and when it happens. So where would this be wrong? Well, if we find support, if we put a swing low in here right here, let's just say that's the low of the week. It's already been set, and then we start seeing this thing climb up higher, disrespecting that, and then working its way higher. That is when I'll know that this bullish idea, and it's caught. So it's, to me, it's the market could be turning, and it's I still have to be bullish. I'm not buying it because this leg of price is bullish. Okay, it is making it has set a low, it has set a high, it has set a higher low, a higher high. Now, is it making a new higher low? So that's the thing that I'm asking. Is the market making a new higher low, or it's reversing? Well, I'm going to have to say, as of right now, it's still making a new higher low, because it's holding this imbalance, and it's holding in the 50%, up in the upper 50% of this order block. This whole area of prices are the order block, and that's the mean threshold. That's the 50%. So I want to see a weakness breaking down from it. So we got down to like an hourly chart on this, right? And the market starts breaking down, which it does look like it's doing, right? But if the market starts displacing lower, meaning big moves low, and then it can't get above it, and it starts doing this and consolidating, or just tags it and starts heading lower, then we know it's done. Stick a fork in it. And that might be happening right now. That absolutely might be happening. I did not short this, but it was a good short. And I saw it playing out. I just didn't short it because I'm waiting for it to be obvious, and then I'll get in on it. So yeah, that's about it. If there's anything else, doesn't look like it, I will look at stuff. But yeah, to me that's basically it. So real quick, gonna run over the bearish. I'm bearish on the indexes, which would make me bearish on Bitcoin as well. However, Bitcoin is bullishly structured. So where would I be wrong? On the indexes. ES. If ES finds support, that's not this one. That's just not what I want. That's the micro. I want this one right here. If the ES is able to regain the fair value gap here, and it's displacing higher, so it's taking out this high. If this low is set right here, and then we make a higher high, and then we make a higher low, and then we're pushing in higher highs, and we're disrespecting this area and price right here, then I'm going to be, okay, we're probably going to go higher. So especially if we get above the consequent encroachment of this new week opening gap, and with energy, with displacement, and then it finds support at it, I know I'm going to be looking for the highs to be taken. So that's when I would be wrong, but I do like the idea of it trading down into the low here, the low here, and the low here. And if it wants to really get animated, down here and down here. So that's what I'm looking for. So much time has been spent up here. It has no reason, and it's already broken down from this high to this low, to a lower high, and now we're making a lower low. So a pullback from this high that's set right here. Let me go to a 4 hour real quick. Yeah, use the 4 hour. What about the daily? We'll use that. We'll use that range. This candle's high. That candle's low. So market, I would want to see it find some resistance up in here. And if it can't even get up to the 50%, starts breaking down, then it's real weak. So market comes up in here and finds resistance inside this area of price. Trades up. Rejection. Something like that. And if it disrespects all this, gets above it, I know I'm likely wrong. And that's a wrap. Later.